We can never work with them. They have a beer on a Saturday. Gutted. Units survived the recession.
I'm going to boost.
Bless you.
We're just a couple of business anchors. Welcome to the Business Anchors podcast. This jingle is slightly too long. This jingle is slightly too long.
Welcome to episode 9 of the Business Anchors podcast, and today we're going to be talking about cheerful things like what's the closest our business has come to failing, and how are we possibly going to get through a recession.
Exciting topics, Lloyd.
Yes, yeah. There are some more positive questions. I just thought I'd really, at the start of the episode, focus on the negatives.
Get people listening.
Get people going.
The answers should give some interesting insights, though, I think.
Yeah.
The questions we've come up with are hopefully going to be, some of them going to be more difficult than others.
And if we discuss it and realise we can't get through a recession, then we'll just be crying at the end, and that'll be the final episode you ever hear.
Yeah, that could happen.
Yeah.
Stay tuned to find out.
Will it happen? Hey. Yeah. So first question is actually exactly what I discussed.
Go on.
What is the closest our business has ever come to failing?
Ooh.
Which is, I think, because a lot of businesses, once you've been around for a few years, there's always a couple of touch and go moments. It was like, oh God, that was a challenge. So I thought this was quite an interesting one.
Well, I think the first part is always the most sort of challenging. When we started out, we didn't have a clue if what we were doing was going to work or not. I know it was right at the start, but when you've got no business, no income, no reputation, no one knows you, it's kind of, that could have been one of the closest moments to failing, because we hadn't done anything.
So basically starting is the closest moment to failing. Yeah.
Another one I can think of is, I don't know if when was it at the end of 2017 or 28, the start of 2018. I can't remember exactly, but we basically had probably about 3 months where our revenue took a dive. And we were thinking, we're kind of even struggling to pay ourselves, let alone make a profit. And I remember we thought, what can we do to make the most of this extra time we've got? Yes, we need to work hard to win more business, but we really got our heads down and developed our whole new website that really, that actually, because we had the time to work on the business and develop the website, we then saw a spike in revenue that we maintained and continued to grow. Yeah. So it was kind of a weird one, because we had next to no revenue for 3 months, so we were sort of panicking. But because we didn't have revenue, we had time to work on the business, and that's been a key sort of theme for us. Every time we have time, like now, COVID-19, we've got some extra time.
I was just about to say that does give me more confidence in times like this that could be more challenging, because I know that in the past we've been through challenging times and we just think, okay, we need to work on the business. And now I feel confident because we've done it in the past. We can focus, work on the business and do what we need to do to ensure we get back up to the level that we want to be at. So that is a bit more reassuring once you get through that in the past.
I think we've even sort of had these, Lloyd and I was going lunchtime walks and just chat about interesting stuff. And we've sort of said in the past, if the world imploded, our world imploded and our business went to zero, all of our clients left, we started from absolute ground zero, would we be confident that we could, or like, I don't know, something changes drastically, the internet folds and there's no internet anymore, would we be confident we can build a business that can fit the new sort of type of world? And
we'd just spend the time working on our website and then it'd be fine, wouldn't it?
Yeah. No, but I feel like because we've over the years sort of developed new sets of skills and things, and we've learned how to work together well, and we learned how to, even for other customers we work with, learned what problems did they solve and how can that be marketed to the right people at the right time to get them to buy it. I feel like, we could have a drastic change and start selling, I don't know, plants or something.
Yeah, I do think that. I think my mindset in the first couple of years of having our own business, my mindset would have been, if we fail, I've got to go out and find a job. So that was a lot of pressure. And now I think if for whatever reason, like Dan said, the internet suddenly bans marketing, I do feel confident that we have the skills now and the experience to adapt to run a different business next month, basically, and do that successfully.
This is why I think sales and marketing skills are so important in anything, because you can pivot to different things. If you know how to sell something, how to find the right person who has a problem that you can solve and convince them to buy your stuff, these skills can be transferred even if you're not in sales and marketing, it's good to learn about, how to sell stuff to the right people.
So we've quite openly been discussing times when the business nearly failed. So that leads us very well into the next question, which is, do you worry about being so honest and open and less corporate than other agencies? Because very few agencies would have a podcast like this and speak so honestly about the issues we've had in the past, the negatives as well as the positives, and just the way we work, where we are very honest and we don't put much of a front on with things.
I think I'm probably I worry way less about it than you. Sometimes I want to say stuff and you sort of pull me back because it can go too far. But I think it's good to be honest and open, and I feel happy that we're this way, because for those that this isn't right for, and those that see how honest we are and the things we're talking about and sort of get put off by it, ultimately we want to attract the type of clients that are aligned with our values and what we believe in and what we're doing. So being as honest and open and transparent as possible attracts those and sort of repels those that don't align with our values. Yeah,
because the truth is, if working some, and this isn't a thing of kind of saying, we wouldn't want to work with those businesses. It's just the fact that for both sides, if a business is completely different to us and our values don't align at all, it wouldn't be good for us or that client to work together. It's not that we're like, we're too good for you. No. We're not too good for anyone. We're just different to that business. So it's not worth us trying to work together. And I think we had some negative feedback about this podcast from one of I think he's my godfather. If you're still listening, let me know, Terry. I think you are. And he was kind of expressing concerns that we might be putting people off being like we are, and how open and honest, and how we're talking about ridiculous things sometimes and funny stories in our personal lives and weird things. But my response to that was kind of exactly what you said. If clients hear about us being real people and kind of go, oh my God, we can never work with them. They have a beer on a Saturday. Then it really wouldn't work for us to be. So it doesn't matter that we've put off those people, because we wouldn't have worked well together. Yeah.
I also think it's quite refreshing for people to see, in terms of our content. It helps drive more conversations. If we were just vanilla and did what lots of other businesses do, and just did the standard, here's 5 tips to market your business, and we weren't really ourselves and didn't talk about things that other people are too shy or don't want to talk about, then it wouldn't help us stand out, and it wouldn't get people thinking, oh wow, that's unique, that's different. So yeah, I think overall it's good, but I do understand that some people could be put off by us being a bit weird and talking about stupid things. But I don't want to change. Do you?
No, because I think it's a really positive thing to be honest, and I would encourage other businesses to be more honest and open. Because it's a bit of a cliche, but the whole people buy people, and I would never say that for. I just did. Yeah, I just did say that. But I think everything works better if you are honest about who you actually are, rather than putting a front on. Because I think you could go to a client and try to be something you're not, but in a business relationship, there's going to be a point where that comes off. In a stressful situation, suddenly when you can't quite live up to that act that you've been putting on for the last 6 months, then it all comes
crashing down. I found that when I was applying for jobs in my uni sandwich course, I basically applied for all these jobs, had all these interviews, and just the whole time I was trying to be what they wanted. And eventually, when I got a job after uni, I realised that I needed to just stop trying to answer all the questions and be everything I wanted, because it wasn't me. And I remember in the interview for the job I actually got, a couple of things I didn't really know, and I sort of said, do you know what? I really don't know that, but here's the experiences that I've had that could sound good to you. And I
think as an experience of interviewing a lot of people as well, I think that honesty, whenever I got that honesty in an interview, I would warm to those people and feel more positive about those people much more. And I think it's the same when you're starting a business relationship. Even if a client of ours we say kind of, what are your key KPIs you're looking for? And they go, to be honest, we've been working on this for 2 years, but I don't even know. I find it much better, and it's better for everyone.
Yeah.
Rather than them going, well, it's this thing, and just making up things, because that's not beneficial to anyone.
I think, like we spoke about in the public speaking episode, I can't remember what episode that was.
3, I think, potentially. Or 5. Could be. I don't know.
Like we spoke about in that episode about public speaking, I think we touched on when you get asked a question on stage in front of a lot of people that you don't know the answer to, and knowing that it's way better to be completely honest than fumble your way through an answer. And I remember when I didn't have this insight, I used to try and fumble my way through an answer, and it was the most awkward, horrible experience, because you're sort of like, oh yeah, this one time you could do this thing, and you really don't know what you're saying.
You can tell when people are just trying, and it's just, you just think, oh, stop talking, please stop talking. It doesn't matter, you don't know, it's okay, move on.
Yeah. Cool. So question for you, Lloyd. We do a lot of different things in our business. That we have different roles, we do different projects, there's lots of different activities we do. If you could choose to do something that you really loved, what would you love to do more of in terms of what we do? What would you
if I'm honest, looking purely at enjoyment, so what would I love to do more of?
Forget money or anything, just
it's more of the creative stuff. So I would quite happily spend, because at the moment we're really good at having that one day a week where we focus on our own business and that kind of thing. I would love to just create loads of brilliant stuff for our business that's really creative. I would love to spend 2 months writing a script rather than 2 hours and then have to get it out that day. So any of that creative stuff and more complex creative stuff, I would love to be doing that for us or for clients. I just really love that process, and I would love that process of getting to something that's really amazing.
Like content creation then.
Yes.
So content creation for our business.
For our
really
business,
creative.
or for our clients, but it's really pushing all the boundaries, much more creative. Like, I want someone from Adidas to contact us and say, we want you to write a sitcom for our brand. That doesn't even make sense, but to me that would be like, this is going to be absolutely amazing, because no one's ever done this. And imagine something like that. But also, I recently as well, I've got so much enjoyment. We've got a very small team, but working with people that I really like and building a team of people that we can really enjoy spending time with, working with, and we can trust and work together. I think as we grow our team, which we plan to do, that's something I want to spend more time doing, working with our team to help them improve their skills and just managing everyone. And that's, I know, like you said, Dan, that's something you find stressful, but that's actually something I enjoy doing.
I think on that note of writing a sitcom for Adidas, I think looking at our past projects, we're really our whole business is moving more towards primarily focusing on producing these entertaining ad campaigns that introduce that really creative script writing.
Just pause there a minute, Dan. Go on. Just going to ask my next question. What did Knowlton do?
Okay.
No, sorry, you were starting to answer it.
Good segment.
Yeah.
So as I was saying, we're really focused. We actually had a chat the other day about how we're positioning ourselves in our messaging. So, we provide a number of different services as a digital marketing agency. But what we really want to focus on and what we want to do more of is producing these entertaining advertising campaigns for brands that drive trackable sales. So we were talking and talking about how we're going to overhaul all of our messaging to do more of this. So that's what we do. Produce these entertaining, where we look at the objective they want to achieve, and then produce some really great entertaining pieces of content that don't just get people's attention, holds their attention, entertains them, makes them feel good, but also subtly communicates the benefits of whatever that product or service provides, and then ultimately gets them to buy it. That's what the stuff we love doing.
I think we've realised in the past, and this is why we've discussed it recently when we've had time to think about the business and take a step back, our messaging hasn't always been clear. We've done a lot of things in the past, and we do a lot of things, and we do things like this that are quite different to what we actually do day to day. So I think some people think, oh, they're those guys that run that podcast. It's like, yeah, we are, but actually
what we do for customers.
3% of our time. So yeah, I'm glad that we're getting clearer to the outside world that that's what we do.
We've just been so crap at communicating, and we're still working on this. So crap at communicating what we do. Like, if you're listening to this, most of you are probably thinking, "What do they actually do?" And to answer your question, we produce entertaining ad campaigns that drive trackable sales for brands. That's what we do. And I think it's taken 6 years to realize what our real unique offering is.
The thing that we're best at, and the thing we can provide most value doing, and the thing that more than anyone else we can provide value in that kind of
because we know through creating our own content, or and for our clients, we know the types of content that people actually want to consume. They don't want to consume you talking about your brand and look at this new cup, it's really good and it's got a big rim so that more liquid can get in. And I've got to be careful with that. Yeah. But no, we know that people don't want to consume that. They want to be entertained, educated, inspired. They want to be, it's so difficult to grab people's attention now on social because they're just scrolling. What do they stop for? They stop for things that captivate their attention and entertain them, and we produce those campaigns, but also tie in the benefits of your product and service in an entertaining, fun way. And I think we talked about that campaign we loved running for that electronics brand, and that's the type of campaign we want to be doing more of, because we know it works and it's good.
It does. Well done. Good answer.
Thank you.
Top marks.
Thanks, mate. So what about reviews? We want people to leave us reviews and stuff, don't we?
Yeah, they probably should.
We're going to pick a word. What words? The last few episodes, we've been getting people to include a word.
Well, actually, we shouldn't tell people, but we recorded this at the same time as the last episode 8. So we actually won't hear the words until episode 10. So we should probably use the same words.
Okay. What were those words, Lloyd?
In case you didn't listen to episode 8, which would be weird if you just started at 9. But, that's fair enough if you did. Do what you want. But you need to include the words drama or business studies in your reviews, and we're going to be reading the best ones. And please, get creative, and we will read the best ones, and I'll just keep repeating the same sentence.
Yeah. But it's those reviews, and it's you listeners telling your friends to listen to this podcast that helps us reach more people. I think you mentioned before, we even charted in France and Spain, didn't we, Lloyd? Did we get on some kind of charts in France and Spain at some point?
Yes. Yeah. Well, there's been lots of countries, but this week's ones we've got on the charts for the first time, Spain and France. So,
all the Spanish and French listeners.
Bonjour.
Hola.
J'ai 12 ans. I always laugh. In case you don't know, J'ai 12 ans is I'm 12 years old. And it's funny because me and my friends always say that because you learn how to say your age when you're 12 years old. So lots of people know that phrase.
Brilliant, Lloyd.
Yeah, thank you. Just thought you'd be interested in that. So
cool story, bro.
Thank you, mate.
So I've got a question for you, moving on. I want to know, and there's been a lot of these, embarrassing moments. You've had a lot of embarrassing moments throughout your life, really. I mean, you're just quite an embarrassing kind of character, But I want to know, throughout the Knowlton era, throughout running Knowlton, give me some. You might have more. You've probably got more than one. Give me some embarrassing moments where you wanted the floor to swallow you up. Can you think of any?
I don't think we've had many embarrassing moments. Well, you might remind me of some, but the main one I think was just, and you didn't even realise until we left, so it wasn't embarrassing for you. But we spoke about it in a previous episode, that when we turned up to a pitch and didn't realise it was a pitch, so we just basically turned up for a chat. They're like, where do you want to plug in? What do you mean plug in? My phone? What? And just the whole way through I was thinking, they're so disappointed that we're not pitching them, because we thought it was a discussion, and it was definitely.
I think it's those key moments where you're the moments where you have the most embarrassing lessons that you learn from, like that, are the most useful ones, because you remember them because they were so embarrassing.
Yeah, but I don't know. Well, I don't get embarrassed easily, so maybe I should have a lot more embarrassing moments, but I'm not embarrassed by the things I should be embarrassed by.
There definitely are some.
Yeah. Next question.
Go on.
Because I'm not easily embarrassed, so there wasn't much to talk about. What do you love about your job, Dan?
Good question. I think a lot of things, comparing it to, again, I've spoken about this before, but I was an assistant manager at an enterprise rent-a-car branch after uni. Going through that experience, and I learned a lot in that sort of role, but I absolutely hated my life. And as I mentioned in the last episode, I basically had a breakdown and just quit my job and came running home to my mum and dad crying because I hated it so much. So having that experience...
Full episode. Business ain't good. Hey.
Now, having that experience makes you really appreciate, and now doing something that I love, we love, really makes you appreciate, the things you love about it. So first of all, the freedom to do what we want to do and spend our time doing. There's nothing worse when you're in a role and your manager or whoever's in charge of you is saying, do this, do this, do this, and you're thinking, I don't want to do that. That's shit. That would be rubbish. That's not my skills. Whereas we can very openly be like, oh, we need to get these activities and these actions done. Whose skills will work best to do this? Who will enjoy it the most? And that sort of thing. So we've got complete ownership of what we do. I guess that's the first thing I really enjoy about working here. Secondly, again, we've spoken about this, but the feeling of building something. I don't know. When you do some kind of creative activity, if you draw something or if you paint something or if you, I don't know, whatever your creative outlet is, once you've done that activity and there's something, an output, you kind of feel a sense of achievement and feel a sense of looking back at it. I get that for just our brand in the sense of there's all these small things we do, create content, deliver really cool campaigns for clients, develop our website. There's all these things we do that contribute to building something really cool. And I love the sense of looking back. And whereas, it's good to work for a company and you get lots of experience and you can contribute to that. But I guess I couldn't compare the feeling of doing your own thing. Even if you work for a company and you also do other creative outlets that you do in your spare time, the feeling you get from doing, I don't know, does that make sense?
Yeah, I think it does, definitely. Yeah. I think that the feeling you get when you've actually worked hard on something and you can see a difference in what's happened is really good. And when you're running our own business, we have much more control over that, basically. Yeah. So
I just randomly thought of something to do with that. Remember that time when you said you had this sort of side project where you were going to create a video every day and you created a whole YouTube channel called something, I can't remember what it was called, Lloyd. And
it's called Lloyd Today.
It was called Lloyd Today. And Lloyd, so the first video he made, and he's looking at me, the concept was Lloyd doesn't quite know what he's going to create, but he's going to create a video every day.
No. I think it wasn't even that ambitious. Every week.
So he made the first video, made the YouTube channel, put it on YouTube, and it's saying, I'm going to be creating a video every week. Is a classic Lloyd. Great idea. Didn't deliver. It's only got one video on the channel still.
Didn't even do the second week. Oh, that's
just so. I'm sure you can find that video somewhere of Lloyd, really confidently. You know what? I'm going to make a really cool video
every week. Yeah. See you next week. Oh, that video's been about 3 years too late.
That was random, but yeah. So I've got a question for you, Lloyd.
Mm-hmm.
Simple. Are you happy?
Yes.
Cool. Moving on. Now, why are you this is an interesting one. Why are you happy? How do you judge how happy you are? How do people know if they're happy or not? What is happy?
This is really a random question, isn't it? Well, what is happy?
Because you are, knowing you are just quite a happy person quite a lot compared to a lot of people. And I think, that's a...
I am not happy that your phone just rang while we're recording this podcast.
Sorry, my alarm just went off.
Oh, it's okay.
Why are you happy? What? And yeah, so we take it for granted.
So many happiness questions.
How to be happy?
So right, okay, lots of happiness questions.
Go.
I am really lucky that yes, I'm really happy.
But give us some value. How can other people be happy?
Well, I think recently I've realised a lot more what actually makes me happy. So. Over the last couple of years, my stomach's rumbling.
Oh my God, that is such a loud rumble.
If you pick that up, if that's in your ears or not. But yeah, over the last couple of years, I've really worked hard to understand what it is that makes me happy. And I think I've had to get out of certain habits to understand that. So, for example, I Sorry, I was just a bit unhappy there because our neighbours made a really loud noise again on the podcast. But
go on, Lloyd.
So certain things, like at the moment, I am getting out of anything in my life. I mean, other than my wife and my son Leo, because that would be weird.
And your brother
spending
Dan.
time with them, and my brother Dan. I'm getting so much happiness out of.
I think I know what you're going to say.
Out of
Plants.
growing vegetables and plants, and I'm even saying that, thinking that's fucking ridiculous. But no, I just think being more.
You do always send me pictures of how your seedlings are doing.
I've never grown veg before, never been much of a gardener, and in the last couple of months, I've just started doing it, and I've realised that something as simple as planting some seeds and watering them every day makes me happier than 90% of everything I do day to day.
What an interesting life you lead, Lloyd.
No, but I know how weird it sounds, but I think getting and it's made, and I've only done that because I've been trying more and more random things to try and work out, because I used to think when I was younger that you would need lots of money to be happy and you need to buy lots of cool stuff and do lots of cool things. And I'm realising more and more now I'm becoming a boring old person.
Yeah.
That there are some very simple things, and I'm kind of trying to make notes in my own head that there are really simple things that I just need to repeat over time, and it makes me really happy. So why would I not just grow some more seeds if it has such a big effect?
So you say that makes you happier than like buying a really nice flashy new car, or
I would
a bigger house, or
genuinely right now, if you said, Lloyd, your cucumber plants are going to thrive this season, I would take that over a new car.
You don't like cars anyway, so that was
but I know, but it's that understanding of yourself, of what actually makes. I know that shiny cars don't make me happy.
We have had some weird. We do call each other quite a bit, and we have had some weird conversation where we talk about, because I actually do get where you're coming from, because I'm growing tomatoes and strawberries.
Oh, so weird.
No, but I'm not as sort of. You've got a wormery where you bought 500 worms and they ate all your food and poo it out.
My composting is brilliant.
Right now. You've taken it to the next level.
So because I know the listeners are going to be so interested. All my food waste for the last 6 or 7 weeks has either been eaten by worms or it's in a compost bin, where it's creating great compost that's going to feed my vegetables next year.
But Lloyd, no, the amount of enjoyment you get about talking to me about that is ridiculous.
Been the best part of any podcast.
No, literally, when you call me up. But no, it's those. I think you're right. It's finding those. Like my example is this weekend, I bought a Fitbit. Right, I'm one of those people. And I have got so much enjoyment out of setting goals for how much movement and activity I need to do, and reaching the goals and getting a little vibration on my arm saying you've reached your goal today for the. Even earlier on, when we were in the office, I had sort of 80 steps to go to hit my target for the hour, and I would walk around, and I just felt so good with that. Which sounds really sad.
These are strange examples, and I'm not saying, just start a vegetable garden because it'll make you happy, because it probably won't for you. But I think my point is mainly, over the last few years, every time I've tried new things and done stuff, or in my day-to-day life where I'm doing the same things, trying to work out what actually doesn't make me happy at all and what makes me unhappy, and doing less of
How
that.
do you work it out, though? Is it just as simple as, do I feel good doing that?
Like actually reflecting, because it's so easy for us to get into the day-to-day doing the same things and doing just what we do. I think actually thinking about what you do day-to-day and realising, those things don't make me happy or don't really affect my life in a good way. And because I would never have thought that this gardening would make me so happy, but it does. So I'm just really focusing on doing loads of it. Because why would you not? And I think people be surprised about what might make them happy. So try new things and then really thinking critically and reflecting on what you do.
I think something Steve Bartlett talks about is reviewing, also like auditing who you follow on social as another thing, because if you're following all of these fitness influencers that have beautiful 18 packs or whatever they are and amazing bodies, and then every day you're looking at them thinking, I don't have an 18 pack. Whereas if you followed, I randomly follow this woman called Megan Rose Lane or something, and she talks about body confidence. It's such like a female oriented account, but I like watching it because she's always talking about appreciating your own body, and rather than so I think auditing that's made me happier to an extent, thinking about what content are you consuming and who from, and I've started unfollowing all these people that kind of just make you feel worse about yourself, basically, because a lot of them do.
And I had this feeling literally yesterday. So all this stuff in the news about how our government's handling COVID and Dominic Cummings and stuff, and all these people moaning on Facebook about people who aren't acting how they think they should be acting to limit the virus and all this kind of thing. Lots of negativity. And I realised yesterday it really made me feel unhappy.
Oh, really?
So I made a point to stop looking at those things. And I already, after not doing that today, I feel much better. And I know I'm not saying shut off the outside world, but I was checking on those things too much. The Facebook local groups, the Thanet group that we have for our area.
Look at these people doing.
There's so much negativity, and some of it's understandable, and I agree with some of the points that are made. But
does it make your life any happier?
If I look at that 12 times a day, is that going to have a positive effect on my life?
Okay, flipping on its head, what could you be looking at to actually make your life more positive? Have you thought about that? Like, what
Plants.
do you plants? No, that's literally true. Yeah. Reading up about...
No, but I so rather than scrolling through Facebook groups that have a lot of negativity on and people fighting and telling each other they're dickheads, so this weekend I made that switch, stopped looking at that, and started listening to the Agency Phonics podcast, which is really so for our agency business world, I know that I'll learn stuff from. It's very positive, trying to help people, and I got and it was, to me, it was entertaining with my interest, entertaining, and I enjoyed the time listening
to it. Adding to your life rather than taking away from it.
And it made me think of new ideas and made me really happy. And all it took was half an hour of that to make me feel completely different.
Yeah, the best feeling is listening or consuming content, and then one of us kind of has an idea, and we call each other up and say, "Oh my God, we should be doing this in our agency." And
I think we've spoken for about 20 minutes on being happy.
No, but I think that's a good, good
interesting
approach.
So, completely different question.
Go on.
Just wait a minute while I find it on the page. This completely off the cuff. I'll just think of this question. What's your favourite campaign that Knowlton have worked on, and why, Dan?
Oh,
I just randomly thought of that one.
We've worked on lots of cool, interesting campaigns. I guess the way I would answer this question is looking at the campaigns that we're the proudest to produce. So I love showing people, saying, "Look what we did," and also the results they've achieved. And the one I really comes back to me is the "With this beard I can do anything" campaign that we produced for a male grooming company at Christmas, a large male grooming company, and it's because it followed that approach, our unique approach of producing entertaining advertising that sells products and services, and it ticked all the boxes. It was, well, I'd like to say it was incredibly entertaining. We got lots of good feedback in the comments from people saying, "Oh my God, this is an advert and I watched all of it. I'm going to buy your product now."
Oh my God, whoever wrote this script is just the best person ever.
No, but some campaigns really land, and this, if you look in the comments, people are literally saying how good it was and that sort of thing. It also generated a really good return on investment in terms of trackable sales, which is that client is now doing a lot more work with us throughout this year because it worked so well. And overall, it was you mentioned in the previous episode, it's the same campaign. It was very challenging. There was lots of challenges, but especially you who manages these types of projects, you overcame all those challenges. And the finished product was really something that we're proud of. So I'd say that one. Yeah,
I'd agree. Good answer.
Okay, thank you.
Only took 10% of the time of the happiness question did.
Yeah.
So very, very different. Yeah, that was good.
Okay, I've got another one for you.
Yeah.
This is a good one that you've come up with about the recession. There's a recession on the horizon. How do you think we're going to survive, and why and how? And I'd actually be interested to know your answer.
Yeah, maybe. No, I'm so confident that we will actually.
Why? I want to know why. Yeah. And I do think so as well.
So previously we spoke about things that keep you up at night and stuff, and genuinely I think for a lot of business owners and things, and this is completely fair enough, by the way, this is keeping people up at night thinking we're in a pandemic, we've got a recession on the horizon, how the hell is my business going to survive? I'm just so confident in our team we have here, that we have the ability with all of our skills together to get through it. And I know, the conversations we've had already, and the thing you spoke about earlier in the episode, I think, or it could have been, last episode, that I'm so confident within our business we now have the skills that we could completely change our business, and in 30 days I feel we'd have...
Be millionaires.
We'd have... Just take these steps and we'll all be millionaires. Yeah. No, but in 30 days we'd have a business up and running, selling certain products or services that are completely new to us, and that we could make that business work. I really do think with us leading the business, the people we have giving us advice and supporting us, and our team with their skills, I'm sure we can do that. So I'm really confident that we will, because of that, really. And I think it is the case that a few years back I wouldn't have been confident at all. I would have been hopeful. Yeah. But because we didn't have the experience and the skills to think, actually, we can do this.
I think over time, when you start to have those small wins, you start to have more confidence in yourself and what you can do. It's just like we mentioned in a previous episode, when you're going out and you're new, your business is new and you're trying to sell it, services, but you've got no evidence of it, other people enjoying it. It's very, very difficult. Whereas when you build up those short wins of, oh, that worked really well, that didn't work so well, but then we learnt that. Now we're in a position where, I feel the same, actually. I feel confident that who knows what we'll be doing, but... Yeah.
And if we don't survive, you can quote us in this episode, say, gutted, you didn't survive the recession. And that'll be lovely to hear. Make sure when you say that, you leave a 5-star review. I've just realised we've got a final question on here. Doesn't fit with anything we've been talking about. So really confident we can survive that recession. So moving on, Dan, what's your morning routine?
We really should have come up with a better way to transition these questions into each other. We really haven't thought about that. But great question, Lloyd.
I love when we've had terrible segues to the next question. We just straight away, great question.
So, morning routine. There's all those books. I haven't. Have you read any of those books where it says, I can't remember what they're called. There's certain books where it's like, follow this morning routine. Wake up at 5, have a herbal tea, have positive affirmations. Think about, have you read those?
All of them, like you have to wake up between 3 and 5 in the morning, basically.
Yeah. So first of all, I don't have any, I've never thought about this and have a structured approach, so this probably won't be that valuable, but I'll tell you anyway. So my morning routine's changed in a couple of ways since COVID-19, because all the gyms are shut, and also since having a child. So my morning routine used to be waking up before having a child, waking up at 5.
See, hang on, this already sounds like one of these ones that you'd see on the internet as such a brilliant...
No.
Waking up at 5? Sounds to me like you're one of the douchey people with the morning routines.
No, I'm not. There's no benefit to this. Just ignore me, but I'll just tell you anyway. Because I wanted to get my gym routine. I was going to the gym 4 or 5 times a week, waking up at 5, getting to the gym for 5:45. So gym, then work for like 7:30.
Then green tea, then thinking positively.
No, I didn't do any of that crap. But that was my routine. Now, again, not much structure. So, structure-ish. So now, between 5 and 7, when my son is screaming, I get up, not screaming, but showing signs of being awake. Get up, do his milk, feed him, change him, play with him for a bit, put him back down for a nap, make Christella tea, get ready for work, cycle to work, start work. There's no like green tea or any of that crap. We have a coffee when we get in, but... What's yours? What's your morning routine? Do you actually have one of those, I get up and do 5-star jumps?
No. I for a while
Don't try and act as if you've got some really cool morning routine.
No, for a while I did things like that, but nothing's ever stuck. I really don't have much of a morning routine at all. I get up at...
It's a really riveting episode.
I get up at 7 and then get out of bed and have a shower and stuff and then come to work. So...
Wow, you guys.
Surprisingly, there haven't been videos online about my morning routine. Anyway, I mean, it's brilliant to finish on a terrible question. So we hope you've enjoyed that. Really, it peaked probably second to last question and then really went downhill. Yep. But please do leave us a review, including drama or business studies. And remember, make sure you don't make it obvious we've asked you to do it, and we'll be reading out the most creative ones. Just like this one, which says, "Now we know how to do marketing stuff," which is a great title. Another entertaining and Oh, God.
Oh, Lloyd, come on.
Oh, Top Business Podcast. Another entertaining and engaging podcast, guys. Living as I do near the border with Wales, I have to ask if you plan a Welsh language version of Angora Business. That was my Welsh accent because I speak. Hang on, let me just try. Angora Business. No, that doesn't sound Welsh. That sounds Russian.
Angora Business.
Bless you. Okay, if you're Welsh, I apologise and tell us where we went wrong there. But thank you very much. And guess who that was from, Dan?
Who?
Light Bulb Guru, fan of the show.
Oh, Richard.
Yes.
Oh,
thank
thanks,
you, Richard.
Richard.
Great review, Richard. And I love that you slipped Wales in there by talking about the country. So watch out for the new episode of Angora Business next week, which is the Russian version. And thank you guys for listening. We hope you've enjoyed.
Yeah.
And if you want to hear more great morning routines, tune in next week.
See you then.